Breaking news. Russian forces suffer new losses near Bakhmut, as the counteroffensive continues. Ukrainian forces, according to a military spokesperson on Friday, have made significant gains against Russian forces in the last day, moving more than a kilometer closer to the eastern city of Bakhmut. Although Russian and Ukrainian accounts of fighting in the Bakhmut sector differ, his remarks represent the most recent indication from Kyiv that the counteroffensive it launched at the beginning of June is making gradual progress. Defense forces continue to exert pressure on the enemy, conduct assault operations, and advance along the northern and southern flanks, Serhiy Cherevatyi reported on Ukrainian television. More than 1 kilometer, 0.62 miles, has been gained by them in the past day. After Wagner's failed coup in Moscow was hailed as a victory by Russian state TV, Belarus's President Alexander Lukashenko declared that no war heroes existed. "I think that no one came out of that situation a hero," Mr. Lukashenko, the president's ally, told the BBC. "Neither Prigozhin nor Putin nor Lukashenko. The world had no saviors. What can we learn from this? We need to pay close attention to and monitor any armed groups we foster." Brief outline. Putin's ally after the Wagner mutiny. According to Lukashenko, there were no heroes. After the discovery of 2 more bodies, the death toll from the attack in Lviv has risen to 7. While there are some concerns, the United States plans to send Ukraine cluster bombs. Zelensky presses NATO officials for action on membership. Lukashenko, the leader of Belarus, claims that Prigozhin has returned to Russia. The Wagner family's Russian mansion is filled with wigs, gold bars, and severed heads. Ukraine says they've made new progress near the city of Bakhmut in the east. Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg said on Friday that during their upcoming meeting in Vilnius on Tuesday and Wednesday, NATO leaders will reaffirm Ukraine's membership in the military alliance and also unite on how to bring Kyiv closer to this goal. Mr. Stoltenberg said at a news conference in Brussels ahead of the meeting, "For 500 days, Moscow has brought death and destruction to the heart of Europe. To paraphrase, our summit will send a clear message. NATO stands united, and Russia's aggression will not pay." NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg has spoken out about rumors that the United States is considering shipping cluster bombs to Ukraine as the country's war with Russia approaches the 500-day mark. In a press conference on Friday, Mr. Stoltenberg said, "NATO does not have a position on the Biden administration's latest move," adding, "This will be for governments to decide, not for NATO to decide." Moreover, he stated, we are facing a brutal war, and we have to remember this brutality is reflected that every day we see casualties and that cluster munitions are used by both sides. Cluster bombs were used in an invasion of another country by Russia. Ukraine's defense forces have resorted to the use of cluster bombs. Learn more about the debate surrounding these weapons here. After Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan agreed to meet in Turkey to discuss the possibility of extending the Black Sea grain deal, the Kremlin said on Friday that it would closely monitor the results of the meeting. According to Reuters, Dmitry Peskov, a spokesman for the Kremlin, said that Russian President Vladimir Putin may talk with Erdogan soon but that a date had not been set. Russia has repeatedly threatened to pull out of the agreement, which guarantees the safety of grain ships traveling between Ukrainian ports and the sea lanes it controls as a result of the ongoing conflict. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius said on Friday in Bern that Germany would not ship cluster bombs to Ukraine because Germany has ratified a treaty prohibiting the manufacture and use of such weapons. After meeting with his Austrian and Swiss counterparts, Mr. Pistorius told reporters, "Germany has signed the Convention on Cluster Munitions, so it is no option for us. As for those countries that have not signed the convention, China, Russia, Ukraine, and the United States, it is not up to me to comment on their actions," he added. The controversial weapons were reportedly being considered for shipment to Ukraine by the Biden administration on Friday to aid Kyiv in their ongoing war with Russia.